Arteta has gone ahead to lay one Caicedo to Arsenal condition to see to it that he signs him in the summer. Remember, this deal fell off and Brighton said no. They stood on their stance. They are adamant that Caicedo is not for sale, and it's rumored that Arsenal's second bid that they made for Caicedo really damaged the relationship between Arsenal and Brighton. That's one of the stories we're going to talk about today. Secondly, today we brought a story about Martinelli being offered a new deal and he had agreed it, and today has put pen to paper to that deal. We are going to discuss more about that and what it means for the remaining players of Arsenal and what they are all about this season. Then Jorginho, Fabrizio Romano has gone ahead to reveal to us what really prompted Jorginho to join Arsenal and who was the main man behind this. How did this happen in a nick of time? And Arteta pulled the rabbit out of the hat in the last day of the January transfer window after missing out on Caicedo after two bids were rejected by Brighton. Welcome to Rokani Media Football. How are you guys and where are you watching us from? I tell you guys, I was supposed to have done close to 3 more videos at this time, but in my country where I come from, power has been off for close to how many hours now? For 6 hours. You get? So great to see either I'm really talking back to you. I'm really talking to you, and I really love this community. Do you know why? Even if I upload the video late in the night, it wakes up in the morning when it's having close to 7,000 views, and that's why I'll always hail you people that view this channel. That is the Rokani Media Football. You are just extraordinary. You are just out of this world. I love you. I treasure you a lot to a level that you don't even think about. I treasure you a lot, and thank you for really keeping on the love and keep reciprocating the love. I'll also keep doing the same because you guys deserve nothing other than love from Rock and David to you. Now, let's get into this Caicedo story. Caicedo is one of those players that Arsenal were tracking in the January transfer window, but their offer came in late. 2 days to the end of the transfer window, Arsenal submitted a bid of £60 million, rejected, went in for a second bid of £70 million. It was rejected by Brighton, and obviously it really boiled into a no, and Arsenal went to sign in Jorginho. Now, we've been told by Steve K, this guy is really another journalist that has his information from credible sources. And if at all you've been following him up in the entire transfer window, he has been on point. He was the first person to tell us that this deal has fallen through. He came out and disregarded all conversations that were really being traded on Twitter that Arsenal had made a third bid for Caicedo, and he said no third bid has gone in. Then Fabrizio Romano came out and really said no third bid has gone in through. So it shows you how credible this guy is, because he is having reliable sources. And in this community right now, and the way the world is broadening, we no longer need a Fabrizio Romano or a David Austin to put out a story and we verify it, because we really rate you, all value your news according to your past reports. If your past reports have been really reputant and outstanding, then why not go all out with you and really give you the hails? Steve K, follow him on Twitter at SteveK9KTS1TV. Very credible guy. He has told us that Arteta will make a decision on whether of not to go back in for Brighton Moise Caicedo, depending on the progression of young Belgium talent Sir Albert Sambi Lokonga's deal to Palace. Arteta personally spoke to Arsenal legend Vieira before the deal was finalized. Now, Mikel Arteta is weighing in on signing Caicedo. Why did he go in for him in the January transfer window lately? It was all about the injury of Elneny, and he thought that maybe Lokonga was not up there, and he felt like maybe Caicedo will be the best position, hitting 2 birds with 1 stone. That was the mission for Arteta, to sign in Caicedo, because Caicedo comes in through at Arsenal. That means Arsenal was not going to go in for a CDM in the January transfer window. That would have been done and dusted. But not getting him, and they got in Jorginho as a stopgap signing, came in through and obviously worked like a charm for Arsenal. I believe Jorginho is going to be a breath of fresh air at Arsenal, a signing that most never loved, but is going to prove most of them wrong. And Arteta now is really weighing in to go in for either Caicedo in the summer or keep Lokonga. Now, Arsenal fans are really desperate. Most of them are down in their hearts. Their spirits are really low as far as the deal of Caicedo falling out through was concerned. They really wanted Caicedo, and that's why they really never welcomed Jorginho with open hands or open arms, because they felt like he's not the guy. Arsenal fans are really still stuck in that shock of two Chelsea players that they signed that were in their evening of their careers. Douglas Luiz and Willian, all of them came in through and never really performed to the levels Arsenal expect them to be performing. But one thing that you guys should put in your mind is when these two players came in at Arsenal, Arsenal was still in a very bad condition. It had not yet gotten a playing philosophy. It never had players that were really up there, because Luiz was playing with the likes of, I don't even remember their names. Have really flown out of my head, but you know the players that were really there at Arsenal. Kolasinac, is it Kaslididis? Very, very funny names there that were playing at Arsenal. You get? So, Arsenal needed a revamp, and that revamp has been made by Mikel Arteta. So, in that situation that he has really revamped, I think every player can easily come in and through and really play there very well. So, Lokonga being loaned to Crystal Palace was really a very good move, because Arteta wants to really get this boy educated by one of the best CDMs I've ever seen in the world during his era. Patrick Vieira was really one of the best CDMs in the world by then. So he's going to be coached by one of the best managers good at improving young talent right now in the Premier League. Look at the talent at Crystal Palace. Conor Gallagher, one full season at Crystal Palace, has seen him go back, get integrated into that Chelsea squad, and Graham Potter wants him to stay. Remember, even Thomas Tuchel said, I'm not letting this player go back on loan, meaning that they appreciated the job that Patrick Vieira did in that boy. Look at the likes of Olise, that young guy who really scored a free kick against Manchester United in the dying minutes of the game. Olise, very good player. There is even another young player, Gueyuchi, that guy who plays in the central defense. He has really transformed lots of young players at Crystal Palace, and he's really turning them into world-class players or top-class players. Now, I believe Arteta has a reason as to why he's really watching in on Sambi Lokonga, because he is really one of those prospects that he signed from Belgium. Very good player, but the lack of playing time has really affected the development of this player. Now, it was the right time for him to let go at Crystal Palace to get that playing time. Now, if he really comes out and really thrives in the midfield, especially playing against Premier League sides, he's really going to be one of those that Arteta is going to consider to bring back at Arsenal, and then go in and really bring in other signings, because Jorginho is going to be there for another year, meaning that he's going to be having two CDMs in Thomas Partey and Jorginho. And if at all he brings back Albert Sambi Lokonga, he will also act like another one, provided he would have proved him right at the club called Crystal Palace. Because if you're having Jorginho and you bring in Caicedo, it's really an overdose, not so? And when you look at Thomas Partey this season, looks like he's no longer that injury-prone player, though he might miss out on the game of Everton, according to the photos I've seen today, not him appearing in the training sessions of Arsenal. 100% believe Arteta will really weigh in the bringing of Caicedo over the form of Albert Sambi Lokonga at Crystal Palace. And he's right. I think he's right, and he has taken the right path, because you sign a player and you know his potential, his passing abilities have been limited by him not playing the game of football. Let's see if he plays well continuously at Crystal Palace. Will he burst out into that player that Arteta really wants to be using at Arsenal? That is it. So let's wait and see what is going to happen for Lokonga. Lokonga might make his debut at Old Trafford. That is on Saturday, as United host Crystal Palace at around 18 hours. Arsenal will be playing in the afternoon, then United is going to be playing in the evening. So it shows you how good Arteta is really thinking about Caicedo. And if at all it works out like a charm for him and Lokonga hits the ground running at Crystal Palace, I believe he would have really gotten his cards right. That is Mikel Arteta. Now, the player we're talking about, Caicedo, has returned to the training of Crystal Palace. Fabrizio Romano has confirmed to us that Moise Caicedo, back at work today at Brighton, rejected 2 bids and had no intention to let him leave in January. Ecuadorian midfielder has clarified his situation with Roberto De Zerbi and will give his best for Brighton in the second part of the season. So, Caicedo was really eager, anxious to join Arsenal, but obviously 2 bids put in by his team, by the team that wanted him, Arsenal, were really let down by Brighton. Obviously, the deal never came to materialization. Now, Caicedo is back in training with Brighton, and Arsenal are really looking whether to sign him in the summer or not. So let's wait and see what is going to happen in the summer. If it goes all well, Arsenal might bring in Caicedo or Declan Rice, or really bring back Lokonga if at all he really performs well at a side called Crystal Palace. Let's go to this story. Today, I did a story about Gabriel Martinelli, confirming to us that the guy, Gabriel Martinelli, shirt number 11 of Arsenal, had agreed a deal of 4.5 years with an option of 1 more year. And today he has really put pen to paper to it, and I believe it's really going to be announced soon. David Austin of The Athletic, football correspondent, has really told us that Gabriel Martinelli has now committed his future to Arsenal by signing a new 4.5-year contract. Previous terms were expiring in 2024. Arsenal had option to extend by 2 years. Fresh and improved deals keeps Brazil winger at Emirates until 2027. David Austin was the first person to report the story. Then Fabrizio Romano went ahead to re-quote him and said, Martinelli has signed a new deal with Arsenal valid until 2027. It is done and sealed after long talks. Official statement will follow. Gabriel has accepted all clauses. First call, David Austin. Arsenal will now push for Saka and Saliba extensions. Now, the plan of Arsenal is outside there. It's out there on the wall that they want to keep all their players. It's good to be having young players in averaging almost the same age and performing at top class levels. You see Martinelli, Saka, Odegaard, Saliba, Ben White, Zinchenko, Gabriel Jesus, which other player? Ramsdale. I think the only old men out are the 2 players that are playing the double pivot of Arsenal. That is Thomas Partey and Xhaka. Xhaka is 30, Thomas Partey is 29, is going to clock 30. And they brought in Jorginho, is also 31, meaning that that is the area where Arteta needs to really reinforce by bringing in young players. That's why it's rumored that in the summer, he will either go in for Caicedo or Declan Rice, because Caicedo is 21, Declan Rice is 24 years of age. So, but the rest of the players, Arteta wants to lock them on long contracts. They started off with Gabriel Magalhaes until 2027. Martinelli signed today his deal. It is really going to run until 2027. Then, those are how many years from now? 4 years from now. Then Saka is coming next. Saliba, Odegaard, they need to revisit and really add him more money. The same applies to Ramsdale. So they're really working on this, and they want their team to be intact for the next 4 years. And that will be really a very good plan, because when you look at what Arsenal are really achieving, because they're ahead of schedule on their achievements, because few people were really in acceptancy that Arsenal is going to win the league. Even me, who said they're going to hit 90 points, I never said they're going to win the league. I thought that Arsenal would win the league in the season of 2023, 2024, or 2024, 2025, but it has come in early, a gift, and it shows you how progressing and giftful and fruitful the Arteta era has really gotten too. So, I believe good to keep Martinelli on a long contract, because you need to really keep him away from frustrations from other teams. And what Arsenal has done is simple. The man had 2 optional years to be triggered on his contract, but they've said, all right, let's add in 2 more to see to it that we really tie you at this club for more years, and we give you a huge salary that you deserve, because you've gone ahead to show to it that you've worked hard and will deserve it. So congratulations to Arsenal. You are now contented, you are now 100% sure that this guy is going to stay with you at the club of Arsenal for the next 4 years. You are having him with you. Now, Fabrizio Romano has gone ahead and we talked about Jorginho and what really prompted him to come to Arsenal. He has told us that Mikel Arteta made the difference. He is a big fan. He's in love with the player's experience, with how popular he is in the dressing room, and these factors made the difference. He was seen the best last-minute option for the club of Arsenal. So, this goes to all Arsenal fans that will watch this channel, and maybe those that really cut out these clips and put them on TikTok and very many other avenues and platforms, that Jorginho is going to silence you. If I told you a hate of Jorginho, if I told you not loving Jorginho, then you don't know what you're talking about. This player, if he was coming to my team Manchester United, I would have been obliged, because Jorginho perfectly comes in when you want to rest Casemiro. That's it. And they can coexist it with Casemiro in the same midfield. As I showed you yesterday that that Jorginho can coexist it with Thomas Partey in the same team. He can coexist it with Thomas Partey, Odegaard, and Xhaka in the same team. So, experience is one thing that is really being fronted, but I think the winning experience and the dressing room leadership and being vocal to these players, because all of the players of Arsenal are bowing down to him. None of the players at Arsenal holds the experience that Jorginho has. That's it. Jorginho has played down in Italy and he was a winner. He won 2 trophies for Napoli. He came in at Chelsea. He won close to 4 trophies, all 5 at Chelsea. He has won the Euros. He's really experienced and he has the talent that Arsenal have been craving for. So Jorginho is a player that most of you are really going to go ahead and really reckon with in the next 2, 3, 4 games when you see him play for a team called Arsenal. You are not giving him his props because you don't know what kind of player Jorginho is. But I believe after you seeing him, he's going to pass your eye test. You know, he has been at Chelsea this season looking bad. Do you know why? Chelsea has been a struggling team. That's what I told you about Willian and David Luiz. They are players that need to be put in the team when it's not struggling. You get? When a team is struggling, those players will also struggle to perform. Jorginho isn't that kind of player anymore. They're struggling at Chelsea, but obviously his stats are really way up there in most aspects, more than Thomas Partey. You've seen it. Haven't you seen it? I've shown you their minutes per 90. You get? So, I believe Arteta was right to make this last-minute signing, because if he never got him in, you would have been here trying to worry of who is going to play in the central defensive position as Arsenal plays against Everton in a very hard game that's going to be played at Goodison Park under a new manager, Sean Dyche, and you know how players lift themselves up when they are really playing for the new manager. So, you know what's going to be happening there. You know what would have happened if we never had Thomas Partey and Jorginho not being there. So, I believe Arsenal are really going to go ahead and really do a very good job with Jorginho in the pivot, all in the engine room, all in the heartbeat of the midfield. Now, Mikel Sylvester played for Manchester United and later signed for Arsenal, has told us that Jorginho is not Caicedo, but I think the ambition of Arsenal to win the title and maintain the position on top, I think it's a good move. I think it's an excellent backup plan if he's playing with dynamic central midfielders. You know, people have been talking about the physical bit of it, but Jorginho has more tackles than Thomas Partey. You get? You know, winning a tackle doesn't need power. It needs you to be a very good game reader. So, that's what Jorginho is. And secondly, physicality is something that can be improved on by a player. Arteta can really structure a training plan of improving the physicality of Jorginho in these months, and Jorginho can even bulk. So Don't even base him on Caicedo. I believe saying that he's not Caicedo, I understand that Caicedo is a different player altogether from Jorginho. And the difference is Caicedo can play 3 more positions in the midfield than Jorginho. That's it. All more 2 positions in the midfield than Jorginho. Jorginho can only play 1 central midfield position. That's it. But the rest, Jorginho has won more than Caicedo. That's it. Jorginho has played at a top level longer than Caicedo. We don't know how Caicedo is going to spend while playing at the high level. The physicality of Caicedo is better than that of Jorginho. But what did Arsenal need towards the end of the season? They needed a player like Jorginho. That's it. To bind down this team, give them belief, tell them that it's possible, and add his voice to that of Zinchenko and a player known as Gabriel Jesus. So, thank you guys for watching in through your thoughts on Arteta laying 1 condition to sign Caicedo in the summer. Are you okay with it? And that condition is basing on Albert Lokonga's performance at Crystal Palace. What are your thoughts about it? Are you happy for Martinelli to sign a new contract for Arsenal? 4.5 years, 4.5 years until 2027. Welcome to this channel. I sign out for now. See you later. And what do you think about Jorginho? May the Almighty Lord bless you abundantly. I promise you I'm still awake. I'm still bringing you more stories. Sign out for now. See you later. Cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. I'm out.